Welcome to Art Talk Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of Art Talk Tuesdays. Thank you for tuning in, and I just want to talk a little bit about the piece you see before you. As many of you know, I've been working on yoga series for a long time. I completed a watercolor series on yoga, 15 pieces. They were approximately 16 by 20, all in watercolor. And also during that process, I was doing some live painting where I created 5 large format acrylic pieces. I decided that I wanted to finish those out and make a series of the large format acrylic water pieces. So I have 5 others, and now this is the 6th one, and I'm going to do 2 more for a complete series of 8 large format acrylics. The piece that you see before you here is called Upavistha Konasana, which means wide-angled, seated, forward fold. And you can see that the figure here, her legs are spread out wide to a wider angle, and then she's on the ground and she's bending forward, folding forward, folding the body forward down towards the earth. And so this piece is 40 inches wide by 30 inches high. So a very large format for me, more than I'm used to, but I've gotten used to using the format now because I've been doing this is the 6th piece. So getting very used to it. What I wanted to do was play around with the whole idea of triangles is what I'm doing in this piece. And if you look at it in depth, you'll see that everything is based upon a triangular structure. This symbol right here that you see at the top, the 2 pieces, is called a triquetra. And most people associate this symbol with Celtic mythology, but it's also used in many other traditions. As you know, the triangle itself is a universal symbol. And in the Celtic tradition, it's more about mother goddess, earth type situations and those connections, but also it's also about any type of threes and other dimensions when you see other cultures when you see this triangle-like structure. So it's about the interconnection. It could be earth, sky, water. It could be mother, father, son. It could be the Trinity in the Bible. So it's about this whole idea of being interconnected through 3. Okay, and so if we look at the whole thing here, we see that we've got the 2 triangular symbols here. I put the stars in the inside to symbolize a more spiritual aspect that I'm looking at with these pieces. And I made them red because this is a grounding pose. Obviously, you're on the earth if you're seated, and so it's grounding. It's a grounding pose because you're connecting to the earth. And also, when you're seated here on the earth, your root chakra, which is also associated with the color red, your first chakra, your root chakra, associated with red. So I made these symbols red. Also, I want to get this whole idea of grounding in this piece, so that was really important because this figure, without the grounding, it just seems to float. And believe me, I played around with the composition a lot. Still not quite satisfied with the composition the way I would really like it, but I was trying something new. Sometimes you hit a winner, sometimes you don't. I like the piece overall, but there are some elements that could have been a little bit stronger. So we're going to look at this. You see that we've got the whole idea of kind of a triangle here on each of the sides. We have this kind of mountainous triangular structure in the background that I kind of use just to kind of divide this background so it wouldn't be so bland and straight across. I wanted to kind of put some elements in there to give it a little bit more interest. So I put this lighter kind of mountainous background in the figure. And it also mimics, in a way, kind of shadows what's going on here with the actual figure that's doing the asana. So we have these triangle structures, then we've got this triangle. If we move down into the piece, the whole idea of this piece is a triangle. You look at the feet here going up, coming down, we've got a triangle. You begin to look at this section here in the hair, triangle. You see the shoulders coming down to the elbows, triangle. Shapes of the hands here, triangular, triangular. All right, so I'm playing around with this notion of threes and triangles. If we begin to look at the shapes of the feet, rudimentary type triangle. So that's all I'm doing with this piece. You look at the shadow here, triangle. We could also do triangle here between the shadows on the feet, triangle. You look at these sections here, triangle. So I'm just really playing around with this notion of what it means to look at a triangle and see these threes as we see them often in nature. So I put the strong shadow here because I wanted to ground the figure into the earth as she's seated here upon the earth. And then I wanted to make this transition between what it would be more fertile ground, and here as we move out to what we consider more fertile earth. So we're looking at the grass here, which is a result of what? Fertile earth. And fertile earth is always nice and dark and rich and full. So I wanted to give that impression here with that. And then I wanted to keep everything minimal, but I didn't want the figure to get too dark. As you can see, there's a lot of shadow areas in here. You can't really see any of the facial features, so I wanted to find a way to kind of bring some of that out. So I think the yellow kind of brings that out, which is mimicked in the star up here. So we still could do a triangle here between those couple of elements. Then this red on the legs. You see I've done some molding here and modeling on the legs, but also we could kind of see this is a triangle. So I'm playing around with this whole notion of triangles with this piece, and really enjoyed creating this piece. And I've got 2 more that I want to share with you. So be on the lookout for another Art Talk Tuesday. Peace.